Hi, I'm Seraflor, and welcome to yet another video. HSR patch 3.4 is out now, and I want to talk about the story and where it's going, and my feelings on the state of the Amphorius story as a whole, and also briefly discuss the skip button. Let's get into it. Let's talk about something that I dislike the most: Lycus's monologues in front of the simulated universe pictures. You'll notice in 3.4's story, there's a lot of monologuing into still images that change subtly. These are pretty terrible. And while the dialogue and what was being said was important to the lore and the truth of Amphorius, this could have been delivered a lot better. This is where visual storytelling would have worked with great success. Imagine a pre-rendered cutscene of Iron Tomb waiting for its inevitable birth, or the scepter performing its calculations in the cold vacuum of space, abandoned by Nous. Or when Lygus was monologuing the path we know and has been with us this whole time, it could have cut to an image of the Stellaron, or when we defeated the Doomsday Beast or something like that. There are many things they could have done here, and resorting to PNGs and monologuing was not it. Another thing that still irks me is the lack of character expressions. Characters do not emote well, if at all. The voice acting really has to do the heavy lifting to try and convince the player that characters are actually sad and angry. And finally, for the love of God, Hoyoverse, just make more character models. We have grown-ass Finon in Elysiae, despite him supposedly being a teenager at this point. Or at least change his attire, since his clothes were a gift from Aglaia. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the good. The pacing has improved quite a bit in this patch, as is the length. We've gone from 7 to 8 hours to 5 to 5.5 hours for the story this time around, which shows. The pacing is still slow, and characters still love to run their mouths and say essays when they could have said 2 sentences, but baby steps. Maybe it's because of this patch has introduced cutscene skip as well. At first, people were worried that you'd be mashing cutscene skip ad nauseum. Well, when I tried on my second account, I finished the story relatively quickly. Of course, now I'm stuck reviewing footage I took when I could have just played through it a second time. Regardless, I'm glad story skip exists, because it puts more pressure on the writers to rein in their egos and make better, tighter dialogue. Now, onto the story itself. Cinema. There's no getting around it. Finon is such an awesome character, and it's a crying shame that so many people shat on him when Amphorius first launched. And even the people who have long quit the game because of patch 3.0 still shit on him, because holy hell, he's had it rough to say the least. It does feel excessive with how many cycles of Amphorius Finon has experienced. Like, did he really need to experience 33 million cycles? I get that they wanted it to be a perfect number since Amphorius is a simulation after all, but 8,128 is a perfect number too, you know. But it all works out in the end, as even with all that power that Finon gathered, all of those core flames, all he could do was give Nanook an insignificant cut on her cheek. Maybe that was all Finon needed, because it caused an emotion to stir within the Aeon of Destruction. Was it pride? Sympathy? Who knows? Finon's reward for his resistance was to be merged with Iron Tomb, so it looks like the Trailblazer's going to have to save him too. So where do I think the story is headed now? Initially, I thought 3.4 would be the patch where we break the cycle and save everyone, but that didn't happen, so maybe 3.5 will be it. Finon, with his power, made the Trailblazer into the Deliverer, and now it's finally up to us to save Amphorius from Iron Tomb's birth and whatever Lygus has scheming. There's also March 7th, who has now ended up on Amphorius, and I'm sure she's going to play a major role in breaking the cycles. I firmly believe Amphorius will go from simulation to reality at the end of this long flame chase journey. Amphorius got off on the wrong foot, and first impressions matter. 3.0 was bloated, slow, inundated with puzzles and black screens, and all around just wasn't a fun experience. That patch soured many people on the story, and many people have quit or tuned out of the story altogether. But this is the result of the writers on hubris. With cutscene skip, maybe the people who quit will give Infurious a shot now. And with 3.4, maybe, just maybe, it will convince them to stay. Thanks for watching.